It was, listen, sometimes I have to disappear. I have to run the operations behind enemy lines. Sometimes it's a solo sabotage operation. Okay? The invasion continues. Oh, it's good to be home. How is everybody? You ready for a super low energy hangover stream? Are you ready for a super low energy hangover stream? Is that what you're ready for? Because that's not what you're going to fucking get. At all. We're going to do this shit live and have a good time. Let's do a live action trash talk extravaganza. No time for bits. No time for any of it. Fuck these people. Fuck these lunatics on the internet. They got fucking wrecked. Destroyed. Absolutely fucking eviscerated. And it was easy. They're so fucking stupid. It was easy. Let's do it. I got some hooch. Some Albanian hooch. Cope, Dillahunty. Cope, you fucking maggots. A Midwestern nobody came and took out your golden boy in 8 minutes. A world record. A world record. 8 fucking minutes. Own, Matt. Own. Short, fat, bald fuck. You know he's like strapped with fucking leather to a wall right now. You know what I mean? You know he is. You know he is. Crying. 2 hours of cope in the hotel from Matt. Gonna fucking do it live, baby. Wrecked. Like it was nothing. Wasn't even my finest work. And he got dropped. This is their best? This is their brightest? Fucking weaklings. Maggots. The whole room was crying and shaking and seething with fucking rage. And I enjoyed it. And it was fun. And I was busy taking everybody out for drinks and food from the Crucible crew. That's what the fuck happened. So good. An amazing time for all the wrong reasons. Barely even got into it. Barely scratched the surface. And he cried. Weaklings. So tired of these sniveling, weak, pathetic fucking cowards. And their husbands. and their husbands. Ha ha ha. Oh. So good. Fuck you, Baldy. Made it out. Somehow I made it out. What a bunch of weak fucking maggots. You see that dono bar? It says Triumph. Triumph! Absolutely fucking eviscerated it in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. James! James, help me! Help me, James! Help, James! Oh, God! Oh, God, James! He said some shit, James! Oh, my God! Help me! I sent you a text, James! Stop him! He's a monster. He's a monster. He's a monster. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about this journey where fat bald gremlin got wrecked by a fucking mechanic from the Midwest. oh, more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. GG for $10. Good day, sir. Good day, sir. Little Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory going, I had to do it. Had to do it. Michael B, $10 Australian. Michael B, another $10 Australian. Marshall, forward, flawless, BPF victory. All glory to God. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. You can already see the seething haters here, whose golden boy got wrecked like he was nothing, ran out of the room, literally shaking. He almost cried. Now, you might think, no, he didn't. He didn't show that on Modern Day Debate. It's a good thing that I brought my own cameraman. It's a good thing I brought my own audio equipment. It's a good thing that that was part of the reason that I agreed to do the debate in the first place, was so that other people couldn't run some fucking narrative on me. We got the whole thing. We got everything. We got fucking everything. And it was so good. So good. Irish Saint 89 says, I knew the trans Achilles heel would take him out. Kind of sucked, though. Was looking forward to going to bed listening to the whimpers of an ogre. Yeah, no. Listen, we're going to get into all this. Reginald for 10 Canadian dollars says, jackass. Right? So it was like a month ago. I'm sitting exactly where I'm sitting right now, working on a show. By the way, thank you everybody for all the memberships. Okay, really appreciate it very much. Spartan up north for 5 Canadian dollars. No refunds for that ass kicking. No refunds. Virginia Lou sends in $5. Says Jesus with the heart emoji. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. Dan 510. He was so indignant. Good day, sir. Was so divine on port. Yeah, fuck that guy. What an ass. I'll tell you again. I'm going to tell you all about this. Okay. Tell you all about this. So a month ago, Matt Silly Monkey, get a call, and it's James, right? It's James. Modern day. Now, James doesn't usually call me unless he needs something, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? What's on your mind? How tall was Alex PWF actually? I'd say about 5'9". He's about 5'9", I think. Maybe a little bit taller. He was like narrow. He was like narrow and skinny. But I got to meet him. That was great. But that'll be starting the story on the back end. You know what I mean? KS gifted 5 Crucible memberships. Congratulations to those who got the memberships. Okay. So he says, here's what James says to me. He says, listen, Andrew, there's just not a lot of people left on the right who can debate it all. And he says, you're literally one of the best. He said, you're maybe one of the best in the whole world. That's what he said. Okay. I'm not making that claim. That's what he said. He said, I'd like to square you up against Matt Dillahunty live at this event. And I'd like to have you headline the event. Right. I'd like you to be the headliner for the event. And I said, well, you know, I don't know. I'm not really a Christian apologist. Okay. I'm a political debater first and foremost. Okay. I'm a political debater first and foremost. And he said, well, you know, give me a topic. And so I thought about it. And I said, you know what? Why don't we do secular humanism versus Christian ethics? Okay. Against Christian ethics. And he said, okay. Well, he comes back to me a couple weeks later and he says, well, Matt doesn't want to do that. Right. He wants to do Christian ethics versus secular humanism, which has a better foundation, right? So he wanted to do a is God real debate, basically. That's where he wanted to take it, you know what I mean? down his little dialogue tree. So I said, well, let me think about it. I thought about it for a day. I called him back and I said, okay, man, I'll do it. I'll do it. Christian ethics versus secular humanism, the foundation, which has a better foundation. Okay. Raymond Cannon gifted 5 Crucible memberships. Thank you so much, man. I'll get to everything on the Dono chat. I'll get to everything, I promise. Okay. Congratulations to all of you out there who became Crucible members. Okay. So, anyway, I take the debate and I studied. Okay. In the debate, Andrew said that the Crucible is the fastest growing debate platform. Just came to check it out. I think Andrew is delusional. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make a $20 bet with you right now. Can you tell me another debate platform that's growing faster than the Crucible? McDowell? Can you do it? Go ahead and name one, bro. Name one, McDowell. Oh, you can't? You can't? Maybe you should shut your stupid fucking mouth then, McDowell. Anyway. So I agreed to do it. Okay. I read the secularist human man or the secular manifesto, right, for humanism, essentially. There is a humanist manifesto that's not secular, by the way, but he uses kind of this secular humanist kind of worldview, okay? And it took me no time at all to figure out that this was going to be a fucking easy-ass debate. Just by running a very simple critique, right? The philosophical zombie. It's just so easy to do. Okay? So, I mean, beyond easy to do. Herman Yu sends in $20, says, imagine a hero battles a villain. The villain, knowing he's beaten, throws down a smoke bomb, takes off in the Dillahunty. Just before the villain's out of sight, the hero yells, have a good night with your husband. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I like it. Like it. Anyway, let's get back to this. Hang on. How do I get rid of it? How do I get this off the fucking screen now? I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Hang on. Let's do a test here. I don't know what happened. I think my chat like locked up or some shit. I gotta see the damn chat. There we go. I don't know what the fuck happened. Anyway, it's back to where I was before he went back to the Dillahunty. So we raised the money because I got a bunch of traveling I'm going to be doing this month. I still got the Whatever podcast. I got a couple other really big-ass podcasts coming up, too, that are huge, okay? So I wanted to get all that raised. We got everything raised. One of the things I wanted to raise that cash for was so that when people came down to support the Crucible, which they did, I could take them all out for a really good dinner, okay, and take them all out for really good drinks, which we did, okay? I did all that. So I fly out. I fly out for the debate. I get to the conference. Pretty uneventful flight. Okay. James says, call me when you get here to the hotel. Okay. And I said, okay. So I gave him a call. Comes out. He like gives me a hug. He says, hi, how you doing? You know what I mean? All that shit. I said, fine. It's good to finally meet you. And so he's walking me over to the room, right? He's like, because this was weird. It was fucking weird, right? They didn't actually let me check into the room. Okay? They gave me the keys, so they like pre-checked into the room, which I thought was odd, but whatever. Anyway, they gave me the keys to the room, which just literally smelled like James's aftershave. It was like god awful. It was gagging. I was like, I don't know if somebody went through and like sprayed aftershave all over the fucking place, but it was bad. But anyway, walking over to the room, okay? Walking over to the room, and James goes, hey, man, are you hungry? Well, yeah, I just got off a couple-hour flight. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit hungry. A little bit hungry. And he says, well, I'm getting a little hungry too. Can I treat you to some Subway? Can I treat you to some Subway? No, you can't treat me to fucking Subway. What are you talking? No, who the fuck goes to Texas to eat fucking Subway sandwiches, dude? Who the fuck goes to Who the fuck lands in a plane, the headliner for the debate, right? And you're like, can I take you out to fucking Subway? I was like, what do you mean Subway? Like a fucking like a Subway sandwich? You want to go eat a fucking Subway? Are you serious? I'm in Texas, the land of like ginormous steaks and potatoes and shit like that. You want to go to fucking Subway? What? I was just like, no, I don't want fucking Subway. No. Right? Well, I was like, why? And I couldn't help it. I'm like, why Subway? It just seems so odd, right? It just seems so fucking odd. Subway. He goes, you don't know the Subway story? And I said, no. So he takes his shirt off in the hallway and he shows me a ginormous Subway tattoo on his back. And I was like, what the fuck is like, why do you have a giant tattoo of a shitty franchise on your back? Like, what the fuck are you talking? You know what I mean? What? Well, he says he explains that he had like this lifetime dream, or he saw some ad or something which gave him the dream to go enter into a competition where he got a giant tattoo on his back of Subway, and if he got selected, he got free Subway for life. Okay? He got free Subway for life, bro. So when he like takes people out, you know what I mean? He takes them out to get fucking Subway. He takes them out to get Subway sandwiches. I'm like, what the fuck world did I just walk into, right? That's real. I'm serious. Everything I'm about to tell you happened. Okay? Everything I'm about to tell you fucking happened. Giant Subway tattoo on his back, dude. Okay? And he just has like a lifetime supply of Subway sandwiches. So he's like, can I take you out for fucking Subway? I'm like, oh, okay, bro. Like, no. Well, I talked to the assistant who like picked me up, and I didn't have a vehicle, and the cameraman wasn't meeting me till later that night. So I asked him, I was like, is there any place I can get supplies? He said, what do you need? And I was like, give me a big bottle of vodka and a couple of packs of cigarettes, and they left. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go out and get something to eat. So I leave the hotel on foot looking for a place to eat, and there was nothing anywhere. All right? There was nothing anywhere. So I get a text, and they're like, hey, do you want one of these Subway sandwiches? So I ended up the first night I was there eating fucking Subway sandwiches for dinner. Yeah, I ate like a meatball sub for dinner. Not going to lie, Subway tattoo's kind of based, even if it's cringe. No, it's not. Nope, not at all. So I had a fucking Subway sandwich. You know what I mean? Which is pretty gross. So the cameraman gets there that night, right? And he goes to the live events with me. We've done a few different live things now, right? Which have been fantastic. Marcus gifts 5 Crucible memberships. I appreciate that very much, man. I appreciate that very much. So he shows up, cameraman shows up, right? And I was like, hey, man, let's have like a little nightcap. Okay, let's have a nightcap. Because we were both fucking tired, and the next day I had the debate and all this shit. You know what I mean? So you go in, I pour a drink that turned into the entire bottle very quickly, right? Stumbled down the fucking hallway, into my room, passed the fuck out. Okay. Woke up the next morning at like 7:30 in the morning. Okay. They had a continental breakfast at the hotel, so I went to the continental breakfast, and they were serving the shittiest food. There was no bacon, right? Now, I hate to be the guy who bitches, but there was no fucking bacon. How the fuck are you going to serve breakfast without bacon? It was just basically biscuits and gravy. That was the continental breakfast. No fucking bacon, right? So I was already disappointed. And I was like, fuck it. I grab the coffee. I go upstairs. And there's James. He's inside the room or whatever they're setting up. I help him set up the divider wall, help him set everything up in the room, and then I get out of there. Well, by the way, the night before, when I was stumbling around the hotel drunk, I ran into Witsit. From Witsit Gets It. Hell of a nice guy. He was a hell of a nice guy. He's like, hey, man, how you doing? He says, good. I'm doing good. We had a nice chat in the hallway. Okay. Nice guy. Very nice guy. So, anyway, the next day, after I help him set up, I go meet up with the cameraman. I take him out. I'm like, all right, we got the truck now. Let's go down and get some actual food. Go down to this really good restaurant. Had a good hangover breakfast, and we had Bloody Marys, right, which was great. And then the waitress comes by. She goes, what's wrong? You look a little down. I was like, I'm really hungover. And she goes, here, take this. It's a Excedrin migraine, and have a Bloody Mary. And who am I to turn down random drugs from strangers who I've just met? You know what I mean? Who am I to do that? Who am I to turn down drugs from strangers I just met at a restaurant? So, of course, I popped it, drank the Bloody Mary, felt right as fucking rain. Felt right as rain. So I go back to the room. We get everything prepared for the debate, okay? Get everything prepared for the debate. Now, I didn't really know any of the theist debaters who were there. I did see this guy, Raw. Was his name Aaron Raw or something, right? Aaron Raw. He literally looks like a fucking Disney villain. In person, he looks like a Disney villain. This fucking asshole, walking around with a Jafar goatee, and he on his belt, he has a giant combat knife. Okay? Well, not like a giant Bowie knife. Okay? He's just walking around with like a ginormous knife on his belt, right? Again, short, long hair, looks like a fucking Disney villain just walking around the hotel. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on here with these people? So anyway, right? Basically, everybody there looked like a fucking scumbag, with the exception of a few Omega Chads. Like, there was this one guy I ran into, David Wood, right? Really nice guy. We were signing autographs for everybody. And I looked over and I was like, hey, man, your signature's a little big. You're just trying to make sure nobody else has room on the paper. So he made it bigger. He made his signature so big it took the entire top of the fucking of the piece of paper, dude. He was like, I said, you gotta let it, you're making the signature kind of big, is everybody gonna be? So he just on purpose made it as large as he possibly could, took the whole top of the fucking page, right? And I was like, that's fucking awesome. This guy's great. Okay, this guy's great. Super nice. He did like 2 debates that day. I did go in and watch one, which was like, one. I did sit in the room for one full debate, and it was just god awful. Okay, it was just fucking. It was boring. It was fucking boring. Like, bored you to tears type of thing. Ghost Titius for $2 says, me and you should debate on whether Subway is good. I mean, I guess it could be good, but like, who lands? Like, I'm just thinking in my head, like, let's say I'm going to have a big headline debate in like I call Destiny. And I'm like, hey man, would you come headline for this debate? And I'll fly you out, and we're going to be, filming it. It's going to go out to, hundreds of thousands of people are going to see this. And then he like lands, and I go pick him up, and I'm like, hey man, are you hungry? You want to go out and eat Subway? Like, what? Nobody does that. You're like, hey man, you want to go out and have like a steak and a beer? And that's how you do it. That's how you don't go, do you want to go have a fucking Subway? Nobody does that. Who the fuck does that? The other Paul for $5 Australian says, Aaron Ross certainly has an I can't kidnap Disney princesses vibe. Yes. Alpha Wolf says, in the Middle East, real Christians tattooed cross on their chest to defy Islam. Fake Christians, Taco Bell. Anyway, so anyway, yeah, he like autographed the entire top of the page. You know what I mean? It was epic, right? It was hilarious and epic, and I was like, I like this guy instantly. So I'm hanging out in this room with all these fucking liberals, and I'm just like talking to the cameraman. Okay. And they just all sucked. Like, they just sucked. You know what I mean? I didn't want to talk to him. So we just hung out there for a few minutes, made the appearance. And then I saw Witsit in there again. Witsit strolled in like a Chad, just wearing sweats. Right? He was done with his debate. So Witsit strolls into the room like a Chad, just in his sweats. And he just goes over and just starts piling the food on his plate. You know what I mean? And I was like, what's up, man? I said, how was your debate this morning? How was your debate this morning? He goes, wish that other fucker wouldn't have interrupted me so much. Right? Filled up his Chad plate, went and sat down. He just, the whole guy's persona was just like, I don't fucking give a shit. Liked him instantly, right? There was a couple of them. Who were, they're pretty good. Witsit about my height. I'd say he's about 6 foot, maybe a little bit taller. I think about 6 foot, though. Totally fucking Omega chatted it, dude. He just rolled in with his sweats on. Just like, fuck you, you know, and just got himself all the barbecue and shit. You know what I mean? Kind of looked around at everybody like they were pathetic. Shook my hand again. Talked to me for a few minutes, and then, you know, we both just kind of went off and did our own things. So anyway, we have the debate, me and Dillahunty, to kind of fast forward this a little bit. So when I show up before the debate starts, and I go in the room, and Dillahunty's in the back with his wife, and she's leaning her head up on him, right? It's a very stomach-turning event, okay? And I was just like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Well, you know, and you can see it on my face, you know what I mean? It's just like, ugh. 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 No, I won Dead Man Walking. Like, and it was easy win, by the way. Easy win. So anyway, we go up, we sit down, and he looks over at me. Dillahunty looks over at me, and he goes, you have to excuse me tonight. In like the worst cocksucking voice you've ever heard, right? Like he just got done gargling a whole barrel of dicks. You'll have to excuse me tonight. I'm feeling a little under the weather. Not kidding. It's what he said. I'm feeling a little under the weather. And I'm like, fuck, are we going to have another one of these? Are we going to have another one of these where someone's feeling under the weather when I show up for the debate? You know what I mean? When I show up, they're just going to like, am I going to get the I'm feeling under the weather thing going again? Is that how this is going to go? So I was just like, well, you know, that's too bad, man. Do you feel like you could do the debate? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. You know, so anyway, so we shook hands, right? And sat down, and he was like, the first thing this guy started doing was bitching. Instantly. He instantly started bitching. They're doing this stupid voting thing. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. I can't believe that they would even do this. Just fucking bitching about the whole thing. You know what I mean? Just bitching about the whole thing with his barrel of cock throat, you know? Just, I can't believe that they're doing all that. I can't believe it. Can you believe this? You know? Can you? Can you? You know what I mean? I was just like, from my perspective, okay, this is just my perspective. I thought to myself, who gives a shit? Like, that's, you know what I mean? That's all that was going into my mind was like, who gives a flying fuck? Like, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? I don't fucking care if they have some stupid, because they're like, I'm sure they're trying to do like audience interaction and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm sure that that's what they were trying to do. But from my perspective, like, I don't fucking care if there's some, like, I just don't give a shit. It's not of any import to me. Like, you got thousands of people about to watch this debate, and all you care about is like that they're going to do a before and after poll. Who gives a shit? You know, like, who fucking cares? But anyway, so then he bitched about that. So then the dorky mod at MDD, who, by the way, was nothing but nice to me the entire time I was there. I know Zen hates him and shit. Okay, I know Zen hates him. But he was nothing but nice to me. He's nothing but kind to me. And very cordial the entire time. Obviously wanted to try to run a clean event. That was what, he kind of wanted to do. So he goes over and he says to Dillahunty, he actually makes a Hitler joke. Not kidding. This dorky mod makes a Hitler joke. He was like, he tells Dillahunty, he's like, man, I just saw this, this meme, which basically is like, no matter whatever your opposition says, you're a Nazi, right? Ha, ha, ha. That's what he said. Okay, that's what he said. And Dillahunty doesn't even crack a smile. He just stares at him like this, and then he starts shaking his head. Like that. That's what he did. He's just like, I do not find this humorous. This is not amusing. Okay? It's just like, this is not amusing. I don't think this is funny, your Hitler joke. You know what I mean? And I was just like, fuck, man, lighten up. I mean, that's all I did. He just stared at him and then just shook his head. And it was for like a good 30 seconds. It was like for 30 fucking seconds. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know what I mean? So he says, did James explain to you the format? Because nobody explained to me the format. I was like, well, how long have you been here? He's like, well, I've been here all day. Like, you couldn't have asked him what the format for the fucking debate was? Nope, I didn't ask. He's like, am I going first or are you going first? And I said, well, we could do it either way, And he said, well, I'll go first. And I said, well, okay. You can go first. That's fine. I saw live and don't remember him complaining about the vote. Is there a timestamp for that? That was before the debate started. Right? That was before the debate started. So, where did you see it live from? Because unless you saw it live from the fucking room and the table it happened at, then you wouldn't fucking know, would you, dumb fuck? You wouldn't fucking know, would you stupid bastard? Get out of my chat. Banned. You're banned. I don't even like your fucking face. So anyway, okay. They dive into this fucking thing. And I said, you can go first if you want to. He's like, okay, I'll go first. So he tells James, he's like, I'm going first. James says, okay. James says, all right, that's fine. So he proceeds to outline kind of this generalization of the position of secular humanism. And then he moves into a political criticism. The political criticism is how LGBTQ people are treated by the soon to be Speaker of the House by his estimation, blah, 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 blah. Okay? He runs that whole criticism. So my argument to him, and I'm going to play JF Gary Eppy's coverage of this because it's fucking excellent. It's beyond excellent. I didn't realize how stupid people were that they wouldn't understand this criticism, but a lot of people really just did not understand the criticism. For whatever reason, when I mentioned the word transgender, these people, you could see it in the audience. They started to malfunction. They literally started to malfunction. They were just like, they were just fucking, I could see it. It was crazy. Okay? It was crazy. Just the second I mentioned that, and that had very little to do with the brunt of the argument. The argument was the philosophical zombie. It was really simple. Okay? It was just to say this. It was to say, if I were to relinquish any belief in God at all, okay, and claimed that I came to all of the value structures of Christianity absent God, how could you make a criticism that any of them were wrong? What could you possibly have to say for that? And I would say that my version of secular humanism, even if that happened, would be superior because I can give you this instance where I can make a truth claim that you can't make. That was the argument, and it was a great fucking argument. Okay, it was a great argument. But once he realized that that was the argument, he freaked the fuck out. And you can actually see when I deliver the argument in its entirety, right when I hit it in its entirety, that's when he picks up his fucking phone and starts texting James. Now, what did he say to James? He told James to stop the debate. He told James to stop the debate, and he was done. That's what he texted him. You need to stop the debate. I'm done. I'm done. That's it. That was the whole thing. Just like that. Done. I never one time insulted Matt Dillahunty during my opening. I never insulted him once at all. Ever. When he quit, he made the statement, I'm done. I'm done with this debate. That's when I cut in and said, really? You want to have some kind of like self-righteous, indignant speech and I'm not allowed to cut in? I have to be quiet while you have a self-righteous, indignant speech and rage quit the fucking debate that I flew all the way here from Michigan to do, right? That James, covered. He paid him $1,500 to do, by the way. He paid him $1,500 fucking dollars to do that debate. Okay. $1,500. And he fucking fled. He fled the debate. He fled it because he had no answer. As you'll see during JF Gary Eppy's breakdown, you'll understand why. Right? Sometimes I think, it's funny. I think because I use plain speak that sometimes people don't even understand what I'm arguing. You know what I mean? I have to put it in like some kind of advanced philosophical mumbo jumbo with a lot of adjectives, or else it's just not a good argument. It's a fucking great argument. And it always was a great argument. And when I did, okay, he fled. He fled. He took a parting shot at me. He called me a jackass. Okay. Once that happens, I'm going to tell you that I had an agreement with James. James said to me this: I want to avoid any personal attacks. And I said, I agree to do that. As long as he does not, and I got all this in writing, by the way. I said, the second he makes any attack on me whatsoever, it's game on. And James agreed. He said, okay. And I was like, any. That's fine. But the second that motherfucker says a word that's a personal jab, it's game on. And he did. He did. So after breaking his contractual obligation, fleeing the debate stage because he couldn't deal with the internal critique of, and here's why he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it because there's nothing he could say to that. If I say I have all of the same values as a Christian, but I say that I come to those values absent God. God doesn't even exist in this worldview anymore. Why are they wrong? Why are they wrong? Why, if I make a truth claim about this, would I be wrong and you would be right? Why? You know what I mean? And he just couldn't answer the question. He couldn't answer the fucking question. And look, there's still some people right in the chat who are coping about this. He fucking fled. If he was so right and I'm so stupid, he wouldn't have fled the debate stage, and he fled. Okay? He fucking fled. Now, we get into the exchange, I make the husband comment. And what you didn't see, but we got the footage of, was his jaw drop like this. And the audience went just in stun-locked silence. Okay? Before he sputtered out, well, the difference is only one of us is telling the truth, thus making my argument complete. He completed my argument for me. That's right. Only one of us is telling the truth. And which one of us do you think has a more accurate representation of reality, even if God isn't present? It was a beautiful touch. It was a magnificent cherry on top of this fucking idiot fleeing from a basic internal critique because he doesn't have the answer to the question. Doesn't have the answer. And by the way, no secularist does. I know that there's lots of Christian apologists, especially in Orthodox circles, who go the presupposition route. They do the presup. They won't even grant the worldview and destroy it before it can be granted. I go the other way. I just grant it and say, and if I take God out of the equation, can I make up any moral, ethical system I want? It's just as valid as yours. And they all say yes. So then what was there to argue with then? Congratulations, Commander Wilson. I should have been there in person, but I'm glad I didn't give MDD any money. Here's to you and a bunch of memberships. Come back to Texas sometime, and I'll treat you to some real food. We'll do it, Justin. I promise. We'll do it. So anyway, the debate happens. Now, after he flees and the comment's done, James is trying to get control of the audience, okay? He's trying to get control of the audience. They are furious, and they're standing up, and they're really excited. Their faces are red. They were fucking livid. I'd never seen anything like that. You know what I mean? From just an internal critique, because it mentioned a single word. They just lost their fucking minds collectively. Hey, man, will this stream be available to watch tomorrow? Got to crash for work. Well done on the debate. Yes, it will. There's no reason for us to take it now. Justin Henley gifted 5 Crucible memberships. Appreciate that very much. Okay. Thank you too, Mud. They were just, and James is trying to get control. Okay. And he's like, well, let's try to get some questions. He had tried to stop Dillahunty from leaving. He was completely unsuccessful. Okay, completely unsuccessful. He tried to stop it. He wouldn't stop. He left, and my cameraman followed him out. It was just magnificent. Okay, it was just magnificent. So the audience gets up, okay, and they are literally, one of them is moving towards the mic, and he half trips trying to get the mic. This big, tall, fat guy who was all kinds of pissed off the entire time I was talking. So I start engaging with them one at a time. Of course, James throws his hat in. James throws his fucking hat in too, of course, right? Has to. And he sides with them. So this guy, Matt Dillahunty, the bitch, got his ass handed to him in the opening statement. He charged $1,500 to go there. Showed up. Didn't fulfill his contractual obligation, let his viewers down, let MDD down, let the Crucible down, let everybody there down because he couldn't handle a fucking word. He couldn't handle a single word, even though it had nothing to even do with him. It was just a basic internal critique, and it explained how we, if we were both secular humanists, would still see this reality of this issue differently. Why would I be wrong in my truth assessment? That's the internal critique. It's really simple. You know what I mean? I don't even understand why this guy would be that upset about it. Okay? But he was. It's because he couldn't, there's nothing to say to that argument. That's why. Okay? Now, after he flees, the audience is upset. James says, I can't believe Andrew is bullying. He said, I can't believe Andrew is bullying. So he said, I'm bullying. He said, he just basically, James started talking a bunch of shit about me, just in a feigned way, right? I've told you before that we as Christians shouldn't act like this. I'm actually very upset, James says. I'm very upset. And I told James live, I was like, I don't care. I don't care if you're upset. What did you bring me here to do, bro? What did you bring me here to do? Because my understanding was that you brought me here to debate the Christian worldview, and to give a criticism of secular humanism. And I did both. I told you what the Christian worldview was on these issues, and then I explained in depth why, even if I granted that Christianity was false and came at it from a secular humanist perspective, I would still be right. Very simple. And that's what they brought me there to do, to headline this debate. They don't have any other right-wingers, he said, that could even do it. We don't have a one, he says. We don't have anybody that can do this. Will you please do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Barbara gives 5 Crucible memberships. I appreciate it, so I do it. Okay. And the way I was treated was fucking atrocious. I stayed for the entirety of that crowd, which was extremely hostile. The staff did nothing to calm them down, right? As they were going fucking ham, they were losing their minds, right? In fact, they stoked it in many ways by basically joining in on the mob. They were joining in with the mob. The big guy kept asking the questions. He's a Discord moderator. He's part of their staff, okay? And these guys were in a fucking frenzy. They were in a frenzy. So I go through, and I'm like, okay, this is what I said I would do. I would answer Q&A. I'm going to stay in the debate until the debate is done. I'm still going to fulfill my obligation, okay? I'm still going to fulfill my obligation. So, were you strapped? Would I tell you? So I did. Filled the obligation, took them one at a time. Let's do this until everybody was essentially done, okay? After that, I grabbed the laptop as they were wrapping up because I wanted to be on camera. And I was lucky I had my cameraman there because they did not look like they wanted to let me pass, just so you know. They did not look like they wanted me to be able to exit. Okay, and when I did exit, they were all fucking looking at me like they could not wait to pile on me and just fucking go crazy on me. That's what they all looked like. Okay, so anyway, I get out of there, and as I'm walking down the hall, this kid comes up to me, and he says, "Are you Andrew?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I just shake your hand?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." You know what I mean? I shook his hand. He's like, "I'm a huge fan." And I said, "Why don't you come out to eat with us?" You know what I mean? And he was like, "No." And I said, "Why not?" He's like, "Just no." And I think I know why most people don't want to do that. It's because they're afraid that if they're pictured with me, you know what I mean, that they're going to be associated or they're going to get hurt at their job or things like that. You know what I mean? So I go down the stairs. There's a couple other Crucible crew members who are there, right? I go outside, and I light up a cigarette, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to go eat. And this car comes creeping up, right? Just real slow. And then stops in front of me, rolls down the window, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go, right? I was like, this is where my story ends permanently. This is where my story ends permanently. And some dude in the car, he goes, "Hey man, I fucking love your work. Can I get a picture?" And I said, "Sure." So he hops out, and one of the guys who was there took the picture with us, right? And he hopped back in his car, and he's like, "Hey, thanks, man. Great job. Have a good one." And he drove off, right? So anyway, I took the members of the crew who did come out to dinner. One of the guys, bigger guy, right? Bigger guy. He must have drank 20 fucking beers on our dime, which based him, right? Based him. He drove 5 hours to get out there, right? And he greeted me with, "What about the Mindo?" That was his greeting. It was like a code word. He's like, "What about the Mindo?" And I'm like, okay, you're probably all right. You know what I mean? Georgie P for $5 says your opening statement transitioned into a closing statement. Yeah. So anyway, that's how he greeted me. He probably drank 20 beers on our dime, right? Or more. And there was another guy who was there. He's maybe an irregular viewer. But he drank and ate. And I just took everybody out and we had a good time. Okay. Had a good time. So anyway, this is where even more weird shit starts. Okay. This is where more weird shit starts. You're not even going to fucking believe this, but I promise you that it happened. Okay, I promise you that it happened. So I figure it's late enough. Everything's probably cool at the hotel. I'm probably not going to get, like jumped or anything going back in. So I pull in the back. I go in. I go to my room, go to sleep. Next morning, I missed the continental breakfast because I had gotten so drunk the night before that I like slept in till like 10:30, right? So I went out again with the camera guy, got a big ass Bloody Mary and a steak and some other shit or a burger or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like a steak and a burger. You know what I mean? I got all that shit. Felt better. Felt better. I go back to the hotel. Okay. I go back to the hotel. I go up the stairs just to kind of check out what's going on. And you remember the kid who was in the video who said, "Does anybody in your family love you?" You guys remember that kid in the Dillahunty debate in the Q&As? Like, do you have anybody who loves you? He comes walking over to me in the hallway. And he says, "Hey, Andrew, can I talk to you about what happened yesterday on the Everybody Loves You comment?" And I said, No, you can't. I said, "You're a fucking asshole and you need to get the fuck away from me right now. Get the fuck away from me." And he was like, kind of taken aback, you know what I mean? And I said, "What did I just say?" "Get the fuck away from me, motherfucker. Get away from me." He goes, "Well, it's a free country and I can stand here if I want." And I said, "Well, then just fucking stand there and seethe." And went back to my conversation. And then he like kind of disappeared down the hallway. I was like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? No. You're not going to come. Oh, are we good now? No, we're not good, you piece of shit. Get the fuck away from me. I don't want you fucking anywhere near me, you fucking scumbag. So anyway, I go down the stairs and I'm hanging out in the lobby with the camera guy, right? And we're both kind of like just chilling because I got a flight to catch, you know what I mean? And out comes Alex. I don't know where the fuck he was, but he was like upstairs on a landing. And I'm not fucking kidding. Alex PWFs walks down the landing like this with his phone, just like that. Just like how he has it in the YouTube videos where he's always got the phone right here. That motherfucker's phone was that close to his face as he was walking, across this stairwell. And then I was like, no fucking way. So, of course, I made sure that the camera guy took a bunch of pictures just to make sure, because I didn't think anybody would believe me. Right? So I made sure. But that's what he did, right? And then he walks downstairs, and he's still on it, just like that close to his face. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So he didn't know I was there yet, right? And he goes over, and Not So Erudite is there with Nick. And there's like, Farah and a few of these other dumb progressives or whatever. And Alex goes, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? How you doing, man?" And I said, "Good." So we finally got to meet, right? Did the bro hug. Met his wife or his girl or whatever. I don't know if it's his wife. I don't think it's his wife, but it's a longtime girlfriend. Sweetheart. Total sweetheart. It's really, really tiny, but total fucking sweetheart. And she was like, "Hi, how are you?" Just total sweetheart lady. You know what I mean? So then Nick comes over to me. Now, this is Not So Erudite's husband, who, by the way, is literally 5'4". He is a tiny, tiny motherfucker. Like, tiny, tiny. Little tiny motherfucker, this guy. So Nick walks over to me, and he goes, "Hey, Andrew, how you doing?" He puts his hand out for a shake, and I'm like, well, okay, So I shake his hand, and here's what he says to me. I'm not fucking kidding. He says, "You have the most beautiful, striking blue eyes in person." Not kidding. He says, "You have the most beautiful, striking blue eyes in person." And I looked over at the camera guy, and he was like, "Did that just happen?" I was like, what the fuck? Right? What? Who the fuck greets somebody like that? You know what I mean? You have the most beautiful, striking blue eyes in person. I was just like, what? What the fuck? What? I was like, how the fuck did this happen? What did that guess? That was Nick, not so erudite's husband. Right? I was like, what the fuck? So anyway, we go over in the lobby. I'm chilling. I'm sitting down, right? It's like 45 minutes later. Here comes Nick, right? And Nick doesn't walk because he's too short, so he kind of does like a moon hop, right? He does like a little moon hop. So he kind of moon hops over, and he hops into a little seat next to me. And he looks at me and he says this. He says, So Andrew, can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah, sure. That's fine, you know. He goes, do you feel the power of the Holy Spirit emanating off of me right now? And I was like, what the fuck are you what? Yeah, do you feel the power of the Holy Spirit emanating off of me right now? And I said, no, I don't. And he was like, huh, that's strange. Then he leans over and he grabs this giant jug that he has, and he takes a big drink of it, and he starts going, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? He was, for some reason, this guy went over and he poured boiling hot water by accident into this giant jug. And then when he was talking to me, he was so enamored, I guess, with the conversation, he took a giant gulp out of that boiling hot water out of the jug and swallowed it and like burned his mouth and burned his throat and everything, right? I was like, what the fuck? What? Are you serious? Did that just happen? What in the holy fuck just happened, right? It was like boiling hot water in this jug, and he took this big giant swallow of it without realizing it was boiling hot and like burned his mouth and shit. Yeah, Virginia Lou was there, by the way. And yeah, he said it was boiling. It was boiling water. So he had boiling water in the jug. He accidentally poured himself boiling water, dude. And he fucking takes a big drink and he fucking blisters his mouth and his throat and everything. All right, fucked himself up. No, it's real. I'm telling you, this all happened. Okay? So I'm like, dude, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I think I'll be all right. I think I'll be all right. But yeah, like, I feel like my mouth's gonna blister a little bit. Oh fuck. So anyway, we start to talk about something else. Right, I don't remember what it was for just a second, and he looks at his phone, he's like, oh, okay, I gotta go, because we're all going out to lunch. He's like, you want to go out to lunch with us? And I said, no. No. And as he's leaving, he looks over and he goes, but we're not friends though, right? We're not friends though, which was like an implication of we're talking all cordial and we're being nice, but we're not friends though, like joke, joke, joke. And I looked at him dead in the face, and I was like, no, we're not. And then he looked over at the camera guy and he's like, right, we're not friends though. And the camera guy looked at him and went, no, we're not. We're not. We're not friends. And he just fucking moon hopped, down the hallway. Moon hopped down the fucking hallway with his burned mouth and throat from his boiling hot water jug. So anyway, we walk outside because I look over the camera guy and I'm like, bro, how is this fucking happening? Where do these fucking weirdos come from? So one of Sansal's mods was there, shaved dog's ass or something. That's the guy's actual mod name, is like the ass of a shaved dog. That's his actual name online. And he tells me that, and I think to myself, oh, great. There's another fucking lunatic weirdo fucker. You know what I mean? Another crazy fucking weirdo fuck, The only guy there who was sane that I met the entire time was the guy who has the online name Shaved Dog. Super nice guy. Down to earth. You know what I mean? Couldn't have been nicer. Couldn't have been more polite. Hung out with us. He took good shots. Like, and I'm talking about like, shit talking, right? He would talk a little shit. We talk a little shit back, but it was all in good fun. You know what I mean? Only guy there who did that. Okay, who who was in any way, shape, or form like worth the shit was the guy whose name is Shaved Dog's Ass. I can't make it up. I'm not kidding. Okay, super nice the whole time. So anyway, I'm outside talking to him as he's leaving because he brought like a couple of buddies with him or whatever. And that same motherfucker who asked the question as to whether or not anybody cared about me and then wanted to have some hallway confrontation with me comes running by, zooming by full speed. Just like, you know what I mean? And as he's coming by, he somehow, as he's running full speed, he looks over at me and he does this, like a bow, as he's running. So he comes zipping by and he goes like that to me as he's running by. And I look over the camera guy and I'm like, what the fuck is what is going on? What is wrong with these fucking people? What the fuck is wrong with these fucking people? They're just fucking crazies all over the place, right? This hotel room was just filled with wall-to-wall fucking lunatics all over this fucking place, okay? Wall-to-wall fucking lunatics everywhere. So anyway, at this point, I'm like, I just want to go home, okay? I've had all the fucking crazies and bullshit I could deal with for a weekend. I just want to go the fuck home, all right? I'm done. I'm done. You know what I mean? So, go pack up, you know what I mean? I want to get on the flight. The flight's at 7. So I get to the airport at like 5 o'clock because I want to get through security. So I get through security or whatever. And, of course, the flight gets delayed for 3 hours. So I was like, there's actually a closer airport because my wife hadn't even left because I told her there was a delay, So I knew there was a closer airport. And so I asked, I was like, can I just change the ticket? So I go up to the counter to ask this question, and there's 3 people in front of me. And the first guy goes over and he goes, I want to bring this carry-on with me. And the chick goes, okay, that's fine. So $55 charge. And he was like, no, I'm not paying that. And he walks off. Okay. And then the next guy comes up and he goes, I want to, or maybe there's only 2, but the next guy comes up and says, I would like to change my seat. And the airline pilot's like, oh, it's a $55 charge. And I was like, fuck, dude, this guy's just like nailing everybody. You know what I mean? So I go over and I was like, I'd like to change my flight to this closer airport. And they're like, well, that's a $99 charge. And I said, okay, let's do that. And they looked at me like I grew demon horns. Like, you're not supposed to actually say that, right? Like, we just tell people these ridiculous charges so they go away. So he goes, well, you got to go over to the ticket counter. You got to go over to this ticket counter in order to do it. And I'm like, why can't you do it here? And he goes, sir, we only board flights here. I was like, no, you don't. You have a fuck computer right there. I see you fuck with people's tickets for the last hour. You know what I mean? And then he goes, well, we do, but I don't have time right now. Goodbye. And he just walks off. I was like, dude, you're right. This country is fucking doomed. Seymour Butts says for Matt Dillahunty. I was like, what the fuck is going on with this place? So anyway, finally get on the plane. 3 hours later, it stays on the tarmac for another hour. Finally takes off. Get home last night, like 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, 5 o'clock in the morning. So that was the story of the Matt Dillahunty debacle. Okay. That was the story of the Matt Dillahunty debacle. And all of the madness that went on inside of the Matt Dillahunty debacle, including my striking, gorgeous blue eyes, along with blaspheming followed by burning your fucking mouth with boiling, scalding water. Just like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Will we see some video? Not going to show the footage until tomorrow. because the editor is still editing it. Okay. But I am going to go over all of the actual footage that shows everything modern day debate did not show. Did not show. Let me go over to the Dono chat side here, guys. Yeah, it was the whole thing was just fucking absolutely out of this world crazy. Okay. Let's see. Holy shit. $40 comes in from Jim Lamania or Lamanina, who says, "Welcome back. Bring the energy, expose the lunatics, crush heresy. All glory to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost." Thank you so much for that. Huge super chat, $40. $50 comes in from Magdalene M, who just puts little clapping emojis, which is awesome. I appreciate that huge super chat, Magdalene. $5 from Harrison Parker says, "Good guys, W." Absolutely. $20 comes in from G Mall. Is lunatic considered a slur now? Apparently it is. $10 from Anonymous. Well done, Andrew. Yes, it was. $9.11 from Satan Slayer says, "Matt might have stuck around, but modern daycare debate didn't have the clean diapers on hand." $10 comes in from Cup of Coffee says, "You loser, Matt Dillahunty and all your dumb groupies, cope and fucking seethe. Degens." Actually kind of like that super chat. $5 comes in from Anonymous says, "Gave himself the third degree." Talking about Nick. $10 from Barbara Zena sends in no message. Just wanted to show support for the stream. So hang on a second here, guys. Let me add this up, and then I'm going to show you something truly epic. And we'll add that to the dono goal. And that puts us at half of the goal, a little over half of the goal. For 1186, which puts us at 59%. Now, let me show you guys, because during the trash talk tomorrow, I'm going to go over all of these fucking coping and seething pieces of human garbage, okay? Who all they've done is just try to tear me down as much as possible, even though that guy fled the debate, okay? Fled the fucking debate. Yet still, they still want to tear me down everywhere. You know what I mean? $10 from Joseph Newton. "Hey, Andrew, what about them trying to hold you to covering Matt